Now, back to your friends, Don and Gino.
Yes, you are back with the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. We are your friends in the real estate and financial industries, guiding you to personal financial wellness every Thursday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. That's right. And now, every day, if you go to donandgino.com, you click on the listen and chat. Actually, just go to donandgino.com. You'll see a little video recorder on there where we give daily updates of what's going on in the real estate and financial world. And you can actually listen to that. It's 2 minutes long. You can walk around the water cooler going, I know what's going on. You don't.
Yeah, like I said, we talked about the economic calendar. We talked about how it affects interest rates. And we're about to do a series on adjustable rate mortgages. So it's good.
It's not always that boring, by the way.
That's because you're involved, Don. You
right.
had the comic relief.
No, it's going to be fun. It's fun stuff, though. It's called the National Real Estate Cafe. And then also go to aprgi.com, aprgi.com. We have created one of the best resources in Santa Clarita because we have the luxury of interviewing some of the best professionals, just like we have here today with Michael Waxman with Intero Real Estate Services. We interview the best financial planners, CPAs, bankruptcy attorneys, family law, insurance, you name it. We have figured out who is accountable, who really knows their stuff, and who cares about you. And we have collected them and created America's Professional Resource Group, APRGI. Get that. And you can go to aprgi.com, click on, or just go to the website, and you'll see these great professionals. And what's nice is you can also subscribe to our new magazine called The Vault. And this is not just self-promotion because this is all put together for you. There's not ads in this magazine. It is truly an education and entertainment magazine from the best local professionals and some of the best businesses in town, such as, Salt Creek, the refinery. All these great businesses are involved in your community, sharing with you their goods, including their recipes and what's happening. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's an absolute resource, and I look forward to it every month. Don doesn't let me see the rest of the articles except for the one we wrote for the rest of the month.
That's right. I just surprise you when it's all done. And the next one's coming out probably in about a week now. So it's good stuff. Okay, speaking of good stuff, we're gonna share a little touchy subject that Michael is willing to step in. For lack of a better term. Again, if you just tuned in, we're here with Michael Waxman with Intero Real Estate Services, just a great professional in our community here. Basically grew up in the industry since he was born. So real estate's in his blood. And he's been confidently helping a lot of you successfully buy and sell homes. But there's always that question, Mr. Michael, about commissions. How much commission you're going to charge me? How are you going to get the word out? How much should I pay? Why should I pay that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, you don't get any more than what you pay for. Trust me on that with any service, and especially real estate, because if you don't get a true local professional that knows the area, is networked in the area, is respecting the area, your chances of success are drastically diminished. So let's talk about that whole commission structure. We'll start off with, why should they pay you, man?
Well, it was funny. As I was thinking about these questions coming up, this thought had come to my mind of, it's just like, why would you go, when was the last time you called a college and asked them to discount their tuition? It's
yeah, no doubt, huh?
That's a much larger investment than paying a commission for the sale of a home. But selling a home is a very, it's a very complex process, and it's not just, okay, sell the house, here's the money, take the house, here's the keys,
not just putting a sign out in the front?
Well, you got to put a sign. We don't have to put
a
a
sign.
But is
that it? I'm done.
Yeah, just put the sign out and come with a check.
It'll sell itself, right?
Of course. Yeah, there's so much involved, and most people just see, you realtors, and you're going to charge these commissions, and I don't want to pay them. Everyone's got their hands in your pocket. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot of marketing. There's a lot of paperwork and contracts,
disclosures and contracts,
everything.
You forget out there that they're looking out for your best interest. Without having a professional that's licensed, you are actually going there with no representation, and that doesn't work out in the courtroom either. So it definitely doesn't work out when you're trying to sell your home.
Of course, and if someone says, well, they want to sell it themselves, well, typically buyers are going to come to a realtor, and if there's a for sale by owner, the agent could approach the for sale by owner, but if they'll compensate them for their work, it's something that it's just part of what we do. It's a service. If whatever commission that's paid, it doesn't all go into my pocket. There are fees associated with it that I pay, whether it's my office split, the other agent gets their piece. There's taxes. There's also expenses that I incur or any agent incurs up front. That goes with the marketing of the property, whether it's gas or whatever it is.
E&O insurance and all those other things that's
Everything.
involved in protecting them.
So, and I'm a former realtor. I don't know if you know that, Michael, but I'm a former realtor, and I can tell you that there's a reason I became a lender, is because real estate was not for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the contracts part of it, but I didn't enjoy all of it. I wasn't passionate about it like I am for lending. And part of it is when you get hired, there was this misconception that you're hired to sell the home, or that you're hired to help someone buy a home or find a home. That's the worst, right? When they think that's all you're good for is just to find it. But the reality is there is so much more behind it. There's so much contracts and legalities and disclosures, and it's not just protection for a seller today. It's protection for a seller for years to come.
Yes.
To make sure that it's done right. I know that you could close a transaction today and still get sued 3, 4, 5 years down the line if something was done incorrectly. And Don mentioned the appropriate term there is errors and omissions insurance. If they were to do it on their own, they couldn't do that. But you mentioned discount brokers. They're out there these days with the internet, and it's the same as discount lenders. You just get what you pay for. So tell us a little bit about discount brokers.
Well, discounters, can't find any other way to say this, but there's not that same incentive there. A lot of these discounters, they get either it's like a base salary or whatever. They're not really self-employed, so the incentive to really help the client isn't there. The interest to protect them, you really want to protect your client more than anything, and it's just that one little check box that can really make the difference between a good and bad transaction. So these discounters, there's just not that incentive. I mean, some of the discounters also broker to other agents out here, and the commission's even less, and the buyer or seller says, well, I get a kickback in the commission. Well, yes, you do, but is that small little kickback worth the chance of someone not really having their vested interest completely in you?
Well, let me touch on that, the discounted piece, because I'm part of quite a few networking groups with some of the best professionals in town, just like you, Michael. And one of the things, it's funny, you say, oh, well, I'll discount it because my home's that much more valuable than the other home or nothing. But I can guarantee you, when the agents are networking about whose home they're going to show, I'm sorry, the difference between whether they're getting 1.5%, 2%, or 2.5% is there's a correlation.
Yes.
With how many times that home is shown versus the lower commissions that come out. So be careful of discounting, because if you don't have an agent that's going to help sell your home, then you could be losing out anyways. And then we just disclosed recently a great report, and you'll like this, Michael, and you can actually use this. You're talking about for sale by owners. There's been a report by National Association of Realtors, not us, not by Don and Gino. We could do that report, but and we see it actually all the time when we do see a FSBO, meaning for sale by owner. But it's a fact that basically they've done their numbers that you're talking between 5 and 6% commission in most cases, correct?
5
between
and
6. The selling agent and the listing agent. Total
Right.
commissions is
Correct.
somewhere around 5 to 6%.
Yes.
Discount brokers less, but be careful what you're not paying for. The for sale by owners actually receive on average 9% less on their home because they have no representation.
Sure.
So
That's
they
possible.
actually lose 3% and not have representation. Doesn't kind of make sense to me.
Well, and what about, once again, we get into the disclosure part of everything.
Oh.
And the thing is, there are a lot of predatory buyers out there, or opportunists, I'll use that word instead.
That's
Yeah.
a good word.
Where they're looking to get in, or whatever it is, they're looking to get that deal, or maybe they're finding, they get that house and they find a lawsuit, or whatever it is. The forms that we use, the contracts and everything, really protect all parties involved. And I always tell my buyers, or even my sellers, you buy them a home protection plan. They did their home inspection. They've got their homeowner's insurance, and that way you can wash your hands, walk away, knowing that they're okay and you're okay.
Yeah, it's something that won't come back and bite them in the future.
Right. But if something that was not disclosed properly, and they knew it, you're opening a can of worms.
Well, that's where we've all heard horror stories, whether it's in real estate or lending and stuff. It's always when someone's not looking out for them, making sure those I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
Yes.
When the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, you're protected, and it's not a horror story. It's just, okay, how do we handle it? Well, let's go to the contracts. Let's go through this, and here's the steps, and here's what I've done in the past. Here's my experience, and voila, it gets handled. When you don't have that protection or have a profession that actually has experience and has good support behind them, meaning there's a reason we work with good companies behind us, because there's a lot of other things behind the scenes that you don't even want to know about, trust me.
Yeah, that's
Let
true.
Michael handle it, let Cherry Creek Mortgage handle it, and make it a pleasurable transaction, because buying a home is supposed to be that. It's supposed to be one of the most exciting things you do in your life, and you need to have somebody backing you up to make that a successful transaction, so it is a pleasurable experience, right?
Oh, and I go way overboard to make sure that it's a positive transaction, because once it's closed and they're living there, then
we're gonna touch a little bit how you're making them enjoy the actual transaction and how you're differentiating your marketing from anything else I've ever seen. The good stuff. So don't go away. We'll be right back in the Don and Gino Real Estate Finance Show with Michael Waxman.